Elevate your brand with Elevate TV, a premier media station in the country. We specialize in video production, live coverage, advertising and social media marketing. We do quality production for YouTube videos, podcasts and live events. Transform your vision into reality with creativity and precision. Call us today and elevate your story on 0705 872 237.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Praise the Lord. This once again is a Tuesday morning. I've always told you, if you see me behind the camera, just know it is a Tuesday morning. And when you see me on a Tuesday morning, just know we are not talking about anything else but leadership. My name is Apostle Patrick Muriithi Nyaga, and it is always a blessing to meet you on Tuesday, to talk to you, and also to listen to you talk. Remember, in this show, what I do is hear what you are saying and also amplify what you say. If you ask a question, I'll ask on your behalf. If you write a comment, I'll read it, because this is not my show, it is your show. Do what we always do, call someone, tell them Apostle Patrick is back to the studio talking about leadership and health. And also remember to share. We are in Facebook Live, and also we are also in YouTube. Just go to Facebook Elevate TV, and then YouTube Elevate TV Kenya, and share. If you have any question, remember you can ask. I want to ask you to keep writing down there, commenting, asking any question, and my work is to read and let me know where you are writing from. Today, as I've always told you, I have a guest. This is not just a guest, but somebody who is doing the job. I've always told you that I don't bring armchair generals. I bring people who are doing it. If you are not darting your hands doing something, you may not get a chance on the show here. But if you're doing it, we want to hear, so that when I ask you to tell us a practical thing that has ever happened to your life, you don't have to borrow someone's, you give yours. That's why today our guest will be telling us very powerful and practical things. My guest today is Loise Njeri Muriithi. I know when people saw that name, questions started coming, but it's just a coincidence that we share names. And well, Jesus' name we also share. And what a blessing. So welcome, Loise.
Thank you so much, Apostle.
It's a blessing to have you.
I'm so blessed to be here as well.
And you can be sure so many people are asking, who is that Loise? And especially now the names are rhyming, you know?
Oh, the things that God does.
Yeah.
Amen. So that is amazing. And
Yes.
thank you for introducing me.
Yeah.
Now, Loise is an accountant, qualified accountant, CPA. And I'm also a certified investment and financial analyst. In addition to that, I'm also a counseling psychologist.
Wow.
Very, very passionate in that, and especially in supporting people who have gone through divorce, having suffered divorce myself, and also in trauma healing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you mention all that, it is so refreshing. That when we talk about leadership and health, you know, there is so much to talk about.
That's true.
We say if you are not healthy, you can't lead, you know. And somebody, of course, may be tempted to ask, can't we have leaders in hospitals, you know, where sick people are? But the point here is, if you're a leader, you need to think about your health.
That's true.
And so many people don't understand that, and so many people don't, you know, think about that. But today, I would want you to help us, you know, you know, bring the balance in leadership and health.
Yes.
I don't know what you have to say today, you know, to begin.
That's actually a nice place to begin, because, you know, sometimes when we think about leadership, we only think about the office setup. But leadership goes all the way to the house, all the way to the community, the things that we do. Because leadership is about caring. Having someone that is looking up to you, and apparently even a leader has someone that the leader is looking up to. And therefore, the leader's mental health is very, very important, because it trickles down to the people around the leader. When you're a leader with ill mental health, and ill mental health will break it down, definitely you'll affect those who are looking up to you. Assume you're a father as a leader, and you're struggling with depression or anxiety. You'll not want to hear noise around you, and therefore that means you'll be shutting down your children when you want to approach you. If you're a leader in church, you're a pastor, people are coming to you, they are broken. How will you be able to hear their brokenness when yourself, you're actually broken? It means you'll be shutting people out, and actually sometimes you'll actually be crushing them. Think about a leader in the office. How will you manage a team?
Wow.
How will you put them together? How will you show them the direction if yourself you don't know where you're going? Or apparently you're crashing within and you're too afraid to talk about it. And therefore leadership and mental health, they are actually inseparable. And when we think about mental health, let's think about it as any other aspect of health. You know, apparently there's a lot of stigma around mental health. Today, if you tell someone, I'm not feeling well, they'll not start thinking that you have cancer. They'll not start thinking that you have HIV. Actually, they'll show empathy. But when you talk about mental health, some people start to think, something is about to break. Kichwa imeruka.
You know.
And that is why it is very, very important for us to demystify what mental health is all about, and how we can take care of that mental health.
You know, we'll get to that, but you just said something that made me start thinking. Somebody comes in the house and the first thing is Zima your TV. You know, you mentioned it like it can be a sign of something is not right. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So my viewers, you now know we are here talking about leadership and health. And my guest today want to take us through the mental health specifically. And Loise, you know, being a counselor and having practiced in this field, is here to help you. So your pen, your notebook, if you forgot, remember, we write in our comment section, and that is where you'll be asking questions, and that is where you'll be, you know, telling us what you're hearing. Remember, as we keep on interacting, as I've always told you, there is always a gift somewhere hidden. You never know. They could be landing in your hands. So, Loise, when people talk about mental health, the first thing that comes to our mind is kichwa imeruka. But could you be sick without really, you know, saying, as we would say, is a mad person?
Actually, you know, when you talked about Loise having practiced, I wanted to add a statement. Loise has suffered from ill mental health at some point. I know you've known me for a while, and
I'll be asking, I'll be coming to that, because at some point, I'll be asking you to share your real, you know, life.
Yes.
But let's first look at, yes, can somebody be sick? Yes.
Actually, that's where I'm heading, because those who saw me, if you ask them, I've never been sick.
Yeah.
Because I've been going to work
every
every
day.
day.
All this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been going to work every day. I've been serving my family every day. I've been serving in church every day. And there's no day that I ever needed to be admitted in a mental hospital. So yes, you can be mentally ill and not crazy. Actually, the two are not related.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we use the mental illness, ile ya kukua na wazimu, for us to talk about being mentally well or mentally ill, we lose it. Because by the time we are getting to that point, it means we have not done what we were supposed to do, the interventions that we were supposed to put in good time. And therefore, you just need to, number one, be self-aware. Who are you? In your normal self, who are you? So that when changes began to occur, you can always tell there is something.
Okay.
There is something. For example, you're suddenly withdrawn. You no longer want to be around people. What is happening in your life? That's a time to sit and introspect.
So first,
yeah,
one has to understand himself.
That is very true.
And when you start seeing some changes, you can tell something is not right.
Yes.
So what are these changes that one should check, you know? And you know, sometimes like when you go to school and you are taught something, you start seeing others.
Yes.
You know, like when we went to Bible school, you are taught how to preach. Then all of a sudden you want to listen to that preacher. Is he homiletically right? Is he hermeneutically right? Is he doing, you know, everything right? But again, when we hear, it is possible for you to see someone as sick. But I'm happy you are talking about self, you know.
Yes.
So the first one thing you need to check is the signs.
Yes. Number one, your level of energy.
Okay.
You are enthusiastic about doing things. Suddenly, you're struggling. It could be your body telling you need to slow down and check. You're no longer excited about life.
Okay.
You used to wake up in the morning, like, you know, get excited about going to church.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it for quite a while. And then suddenly you wake up and you wonder, do I really have to go? Or can I call somebody to step in for me? You are not happy. As in, generally, you just feel unhappy. And by the way, in extreme cases, it will actually manifest as physical pain.
Okay.
Yeah, some headaches, some muscle aches that are telling you you're fatigued, you need to slow down. And that fatigue might not just be in the body. It might be in your mental faculty. You find yourself that you suddenly have an urge to overdo things because you're trying to hide something within you. Maybe you've been dealing with shame and you feel you're not enough. So you need to overdo things to cover up for the deficiency.
Okay.
So generally, if you just listen to yourself, to your body, to your social circle, you'll be able to tell if I'm still in touch or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you used to walk slowly and you start walking faster, would that be?
What is the motivation behind walking faster? Because you see, for any change within us, it is inspired by something or it is triggered by something. So what is it that is prompting that change?
Okay.
It could either be something positive, or it could also be something within you that is telling you, check. It's just like that check engine lights in your vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't come when the vehicle has stalled. It starts by warning you. So in the same way, your body will warn you, your soul will warn you. Somehow, you'll feel that there's something that is out of place.
Okay.
Actually, many people who end up in alcoholism, you know, they don't just find themselves in alcoholism.
No.
No. It starts with, I'm dealing with something that feels overwhelming and I cannot share it with anybody. And that thing starts eating me up. And over time, I start looking for solace. Because remember, I don't want to discuss it. So I'll start avoiding my friends. So this place that had been occupied by friends will be occupied by something. So slowly, you find someone starting with just going to sit in a club. Comfort. As in, I just want this atmosphere. I don't want to go to my house because I don't want to think about it. Slowly, the environment starts changing you. Before you know it, one bottle. Before you know it, you realize, it makes me forget my sorrows for a while. And before you know it, you're actually hooked.
Yeah.
And that is why, even as a leader, I should be able to tell what is happening in my team. When someone has suddenly changed, this person used to come early. Suddenly, they have started coming late. They used to meet their target. Suddenly, they are not meeting. Absenteeism. Yeah. So there are things that you can actually observe, which will be pointers that something needs to be given attention. Yeah. And you know, also looking at a church now, a church setup. You know, many times we are so busy in church, so busy such that Monday to Friday, we leave the office, we go to church. And that means we don't give ourselves time to rest. And so at one point, we end up experiencing burnout, which creeps in so slowly, we don't even realize that actually we need rests. And that means if we have not been intentional in listening to ourselves, it means we'll find ourselves at that place where we are totally stretched, almost to a point of breaking down, just because we did not pick the signals. Your body always communicates. And that also means if we have also been listening to those around us, we might also start hearing comments. Hey, Loise, you're no longer available. Loise, you're too busy. Loise, so that means the people around me can actually feel the disconnect. That is a point to sit back and ask myself, how comes? What is it that has made me so busy? Is it something that I'm running away to from something that I don't want to deal with? Or is it genuinely that my schedule has become busy?
You know, Loise, when you talk like that,
yeah,
it makes me think that we have so many people who have mental challenges, but they are not aware. And people living with them also are not aware. Because you think, if you're not talking, I don't have to talk to somebody who is not talking. And there we go. Or I don't want to get home because that person is making noise from evening to morning. So in the process, there is a gap.
Yes.
And I think people need to know, people need to understand that. And sometimes when you look at it, do people have time to do all that? This Kenya of throwing shoes. You know, people
Yes.
are tired.
Yes.
People are tired, and sometimes they are manifesting in different ways.
That's true.
And believe you me,
Yes.
This is my opinion.
Yes.
I think even the things we are seeing in social media, there could be issues with mental. We need to help us what to do, because as a leader, I mean, leading these people, and all the time I'm making noise, and people are wondering what it is. Sometimes I claim you are not meeting targets and all that, and maybe the leader is unwell.
That's true.
So how do you help that leader?
Yeah.
He is leading you, but he needs help.
Yeah.
How can you help?
Now, in the first place, it's not just many people. Statistics show that 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. And unfortunately, in those 1 out of 5, 60% don't seek help.
You know, we are...
Yes, I know we are around here.
In this studio, we are more than 5.
Exactly.
So after this...
1 of 5.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and that one could be anyone.
You know, if you are listening, just know that I'm now doubting myself here. I'm told 1 out of 5, and I'm ruling out my guest. So we are left 4. We need help. We need help. Yeah, so 1 out of 5.
Yes.
That's really serious.
Yes, that's why it is important for us to talk mental health, be it in church, be it in at the workplace, even in our homes. Because remember, even in your family, you're more than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's another one.
it is very, because you know, when we think about leadership, we have to bring it to the lowest level
Yes.
of leadership.
Yes.
Because if we just think about the office, we will miss on the point. Now, this leader who is not aware, how do we help this person? Number 1, I encourage everyone, leader or not. You remember we talked about self-awareness? That is the starting point. And what is the basic of self-awareness? Number 1, it is knowing who you are, you as a person. You'll know your strength, you know your weaknesses. And so when you know at what point you'll say, this is the point to stop, that is not being self-aware. It means whether it is at home or it is in the office, when I cannot handle it anymore, I'm able to put a break, pause, and do something that rejuvenates me, that refreshes me. You know, the unfortunate thing about mental health, we wait until we see the red lights.
Yeah.
Yet, now for us who are driving, or for us who know something about motor vehicles, you don't wait until the vehicle gives you a red light.
Yeah.
You normally take it for servicing on a regular basis. But how comes when it comes to ourselves, we don't service ourselves? We want to run the marathon, January to December. We want to clock in on our targets and ensure that they are all hits. We want to make sure that we dream big and we pursue our dreams to the max. And we forget that we need to take a break, recharge, for us to be able to complete the race. Now, in view of self-awareness, we are able to tell when it is time for me to take a break. That break can be something as small as lifting myself from my desk, going to the washroom using the longest route, so that I can take a break from what I was doing, from that particular task, to allow myself to get refreshed and to rejuvenate. It could be something as small as taking a walk in the evening, just a short walk. Because sometimes we say as leaders we are very busy, we don't have time. But remember, it takes intentionality. Otherwise, tutafika mahali ulisema, hapo sasa kwa kukua wazimu.
Well, as you do that, I want you to know that you are helping so many people.
Thank you, Apostle.
I have Loise Nyaga telling you, say good morning. It says, great insight, Loise. You are doing a great job.
Thank you, Rosalind.
I have a relative here called Grace Muriithi.
Yes.
And it says, check engine sign. Interesting.
Thank you.
And I want you to know that you are helping so many. Let me just get one more comment here, because sometimes I'm accused of not reading all the comments, but I'll keep reading them as we continue.
All right.
But I'm really liking this conversation,
yes.
that you should not be so busy or too busy that you can't get time for yourself. Wow.
Yeah. Actually, you should never be too busy. I remember there was a time that I would find myself working overnight. As in, I have spent the day at work, but because the targets are here, I'll sit after everybody has gone to sleep. And unfortunately, I'm a nocturnal. So I thrive in working at night. So I'll be surprised that people are waking up while I'm still seated.
Wow.
Now you see, that means I was not aware of the point at which I needed to put a pause. Targets are important, goals are important. But remember, you're the most important. Do I call ourselves tools? Because when you're not there, there is no goal.
Yeah.
There is no achievement. There is no victory. And that is why it is very, very important to prioritize yourself. Even before you think of investing in technology, before you think of investing in good machines, before you think of investing in good workspaces, the office, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Know yourself. And then also, the other important thing is allowing people to speak to you. I've known you for a while. If today I met you and something was different, I would be able to point it out. And maybe you might not even be aware that there is a change. You could be, maybe it could even be the way you have addressed me. I'm used to you talking to me in a particular way. Then suddenly, there's a shift. So that might prompt me to ask you, are you okay? And then unfortunately, that answer, the one that you always give, yes, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm doing okay.
The lie that we give throughout the day, oh God forgive us, because that has been our greatest trap. We were taught not to be fine with not being okay.
Yeah, and I think it is the way it is asked.
Yes.
There is no expectation of another answer. It's like if somebody knocked at your door, the obvious expectation is come in.
That's true.
Now try and tell someone no, go away, and they see the reaction. Yeah, because people expect that you say come in. Now the same when you say how are you, it's like greetings.
Yes.
But there is a standard response.
That I am fine.
Yeah, a default standard. I mean, a default response.
Yes.
I'm fine. Maybe now we should be going to I'm fine, but then...
that I'm fine, but is possible to do. But it will only come if we have created safe spaces.
Yes.
Because remember, it is not everyone that will tell that you're not okay.
Yeah, exactly.
There are people whom that I am okay is just enough. Because the moment you try opening up to them, you'll either be broadcasted or you'll be stigmatized. You'll be isolated even the more. And that is why it is very, very important for us to create safe spaces in our environments. And that brings it now to the leader. Are you a safe space, or have you created a safe space in your place of leadership? Your center of influence.
Okay.
Have you created a sense of safety such that a person reporting to you and is struggling with something, can they comfortably come, even if they don't disclose what it is, can they just come comfortably and confidently approach you and tell you, I feel I need a break, without expecting a backlash, without expecting labels that you're lazy, you're always late, you know those things, without expecting stigma. So have we created that environment? And remember, it starts with the leader. When the leader is able to model the need for self-care, automatically the followers will see it and will be able to appreciate it and apply it on themselves. But when the leader is after goal, let's say my boss leaves the office every day past 7. The day I need to stay late, even if I'm feeling stretched, I'll be embarrassed and I'll be like, but my boss is always here very early in the morning and very late at night. And maybe that boss is running away from something. Maybe it is that noise at home. Pengine ndio sababu hataki kwenda nyumbani. Yeah? So that is sio kupenda kazi. Sometimes it is escapism. And that is why we need to create those safe spaces. Number 2, in addition to the safe spaces, do we have the facilities? Because it is one thing to have a safe space, but who do I talk to? And that's why I really like the fact that today's organizations are big on creating mental health facilities or partnering with mental health facilities. But what is lacking is a sensitization. We don't talk about it much. And therefore, it is there. The provision is there. But is your team aware? Create the awareness. And then number 3, demystify and remove the stigma. Let them know the fact that I've booked an appointment with a psychologist doesn't mean that I'm losing it. It just means I need a checkup, just like I can take my car to the garage. It doesn't mean anything is broken. It just needs to be refreshed. And then also as a leader, remember that when you're constantly in check and when you're constantly creating these environments, you'll be able to pick even the weaknesses in your team. Because you'll not wait for things to happen for you to address. Somebody will help you pick it. Somebody will help you address it before it happens. Because remember, you have created a place where I feel I belong. I've taken care of. I don't feel like I am taken as just an object for use, as a tool to ensure delivery. I am part of what is happening. Because when I was down, you cared. You showed compassion. You showed empathy. And that is what is lacking in most of our workplaces. That empathetic feel. That empathetic feel. Sometimes we are so concerned about hitting the goals and the targets, such that we forget that we are dealing with human beings. And human beings feel. And therefore there are emotions involved. When these emotions come up, how do we handle them? Do we create a safe space for expression, or I'll be oppressed in the office and I cannot talk about it? And so because I've kept quiet about it, it will continue eating me, it will affect my productivity. Yeah. So these safe spaces is broader than just having psychological services. It is where we can have open communication. We can discuss stuff. We go back again to home. I think I like the family. Because again, even at home, are we able to create an environment where if your child is going through something, they're able to talk about it? Or will they lock themselves in the bedroom, feeling they are alone in this big world? They cannot talk to anyone.
You have to help us there and tell us how to create that space.
Yeah.
And men, that is so powerful. I think when we come, besides other things we are going to talk about, we are going to help us on how to create safe environment, isn't it? Space, safe space. Well, we are going to take a very short break, only 2 minutes. Then after that, we'll come back and Loise will continue. Remember, the juicy part of this show is when I ask our guest to give us the practical things she has gone through. And believe you me, you want to hear that story. Don't go away. 2 minutes. I will be back.
Support Elevate TV. Partner with us in advancing the kingdom. Did you know that Elevate TV is sustained through the generous contributions of our valued viewers and ministry partners like you? Your financial support enables us to continue broadcasting life-transforming content that promotes a kingdom lifestyle across Africa and beyond. We invite you to send your love gift today and become part of this impactful mission. You can do so through M-Pesa till number 532-9905. And for the international audience, use Wave Remit 0706 655 554 For more information, call or text 0719 666 655. Elevate TV is an award-winning Christian broadcaster reaching millions across the continent and beyond with uplifting Christ-centered programming. Join us in shaping a generation for the kingdom.
Are you ready to unlock your next level? This 7th to 9th of May, something life-changing is happening in Nairobi. The Fruitfulness Convocation 2025, themed Types and Keys of Fruitfulness, with Apostle David Juma and guest music minister Jane Allah, happening at the Apostolic House, Kenya Cinema Plaza, Nairobi. Welcome for lunch hour sessions 12:45 p.m. to 1:50 p.m. and evenings 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Impartation, worship and breakthrough. This is more than an event. It's a divine appointment you cannot afford to miss. Be there.
Wow, I told you it will be just 2 minutes, and in 2 minutes I'm back. As I've always told you, I want to go to heaven. I don't want to miss heaven because of lies. So, and to keep my part of a deal. Wow, we are doing so well. My guest is really doing it. And when we were just going for break, I asked her that she would tell us how to create a safe space for children in our families where we can, share and air our views. But then I found a very serious comment here. Allow me to just begin there. I'm changing a bit before we come there. Loise, I have a pastor friend of mine all the way from Texas who is saying, invest in yourself. Just wondering if I've been paying full price on me or I'm beginning or shortchanging myself. And then we have Joyce Mecca says, I hear you, my sister. You have forced this thing in my life and I'm helped. God bless you. Frida Kamuru says, take the longest route to the washroom just to have a break and refresh your mental health. I love this. And then we have Jabiniri says, creating a safe space. I'm following you, my sister, and learning. Remember, that's where we are going. So, please stay there. And Joyce says, working long hours doesn't necessarily mean that one is a hand worker. Someone may be running away from something powerful there. Zeus Koo says, actually, I have an issue with my daughter's. Her father and I are not living together since October 2022, but she loves her father. However, she is now, that is serious. We'll talk about this later. And then Zoo, we are going to reach out to you, and we will see how we can. I'll be giving the contact for our guest so that you can contact her, especially on your case. But I see it. She is going to talk to you after this. Luce Morara says, thank you, Loise, for the challenge. Indeed, we can go far. We can go far. We can't go far without talking about our wellness. I'm sure that is the case. I'm so grateful, and that's where we are. Michael Cord says, how do we advise our leaders in government to do self-care? Amazing. People want to know, and one just says conversation very insightful, and Bashir says 1 out of 5. He is laughing because he can't believe it. My brother, check yourself. You could be that one, and here we are. Yes. So help us, now that you mentioned family, and I see people are waiting to hear, how do you create this safe, space?
Oh, thank you, Apostle. And I think that is really, really important. Many times we invest in things, in property, in shares, in stocks. But we forget there's a great investment called time. Being present. So we are talking about family.
Yes.
Yes, you go home every day. Yeah? But are you present? Are you there? Because sometimes we get home and we are either carrying a laptop or we are busy on our phones. We are catching up on virtual meetings. So when do our children ever feel they are important to us? So the investment on time. So we have invested in very good schools for them. We have ensured that their bedrooms are beautiful. We have even invested in gadgets. But what about presence?
Wow.
Time and presence. Because if you're just here physically and I cannot feel you, you don't expect me to connect with you. And that means if I'm dealing with something, I will not consider you my safe space. Because you're a stranger to me. Yes, you gave birth to me or my mother, but I don't know. You don't even know what is happening in my life. And therefore, number one, we have to be present. Number two, open communication, where we can have real conversations. You know, sometimes as parents, we are super imperfect, such that if something has happened today, I wouldn't want my child to know. And so if my child is going through something, they'll consider themselves broken or failures, because the model that they have has everything all together, nothing amiss. So my parent does not have bad days at work. My parents, nobody crosses them. Everybody around them is sweet to them. So if I am a child, I am that daughter, and I experienced bullying in school, would I really consider it a safe space for me to come to open up to you? And yet, you have never experienced any challenge in your relationships. And therefore, that is why it is good for us to have open conversations. Let children learn from our experiences. As spouses, does your spouse know the challenges that you're going through? Or are you this Superman who hakuna kitu ambacho inaharibika? And so when your wife has a challenge, will they feel comfortable coming to you with the feeling that you'll understand where I am at? Or will I fear the judgment because you're at a perfect state? Yeah. So will I feel that you can relate with what I'm going through? So that is why it is important for us to be real, because that is what will make your child feel comfortable coming to talk to you. You've talked about shoes flying. What kind of conversations did we have in our homes about that? How did we as a country get to the place where shoes are flying? Is it a sign that something is amiss? Is it a sign that somebody has been shouting and has not been heard, and therefore has to do something that provokes something? So when our teenagers are ranting, and you know sometimes they don't rant verbally. Sometimes they rant by action. Yeah? They will rant by rebellion, because when I've tried to reach you, you have been completely unreachable. I've been trying to express myself about something that I don't like, and maybe it is something that you're doing. So you're actually my trigger. But do I feel safe enough for me to approach you? Or do I feel this wall that has been built that parents are always perfect, that my word is final? Have we broken the conversation down to the point where we feel we are approachable? Remember, our children also observing how we are also handling our house helps and other workers around our homes. What does that tell them about who you are as a leader? Because remember, they're also part of the flock that you're leading. So if auntie in this case meaning house help, if she approaches you and you give her a look of how insignificant she is in your life, how useless she is, I mean, she's a nobody, what message are you communicating to your child? And maybe this auntie is the only person who has created the safe space for your child, because auntie is there. She has all the time. So when your child comes home, she hears the stories that you don't get to hear. And yet, this person that your child looks up to is the person that you trash. So are you sitting to imagine what your child thinks when they think of what will happen to them if they dare approach you? So is this home truly safe?
Wow.
Can we have conversations at home? Is it possible for us to set time? A time for phones and social media, and a time for connection. What do we do during our dinner time? Are we doing dinner while on virtual meetings? Or are we doing dinner as we connect with one another? Do you know who your children's friends are? a certain child was a friend to your child. Do you know what made that relationship break? You no longer see them together. Or you no longer hear your child talking about it. Are you aware of the circumstances that led to the breakup? Because, you know, sometimes we end up finding ourselves at a place where we are trying to cure things that we should have prevented, if only we were present. That child that you label as rebellious could be sending a message that they need help. They need help from you, but it's not safe for them to approach you.
So you are saying to create the space, be there, talk.
Yes. Be real, not just talk, be real.
Be real.
Yes.
This real, being real, say everything, you know.
Yes.
Let your children know that you had a bad day.
Yes, and how you handled it. And by the way, it's okay even for children to know that at some point you broke down and cried.
Okay.
It is okay.
I hope you are hearing this.
It is okay.
That
it is okay. And especially, no, men don't cry.
Yeah.
So how do you model to your son how to handle their own challenges when you have everything collected? And you tell them, as a man, you must be strong.
Well, I know you are looking at me from that corner and you're wondering what will Apostle say. Yes. My guest is telling me I missed an opportunity that I needed to have cried at some point.
As a married man, you should have cried.
I hear you. You know, surely we were taught how not to cry. So being taught how to cry becomes very hard. But I hear you, because some people just, you know, you are told to, you know the Swahili want jikaze, kimwanaume, you
Kabisa.
know. And that has been the case. And I think that's why also the mental issue with men becomes a bit difficult to handle, because you don't know when ni kujikaza and you don't know when he is real himself.
Can we borrow from the greatest man and the greatest male leader that ever lived, Jesus Christ? Do you realize Jesus Christ cried? And it was a cry out of emotions at one point.
Yeah.
Do you realize that Jesus will take time to just go be by himself, to recharge? Actually, we are told in the mornings. He used to do it in the mornings.
Yeah.
And do you realize that Jesus had a close circle? He had 12, but he had 3. And in his moment of distress, he kept going back to the 3. And he kept asking them. Yes, at some point, yes. And you realize he had an expectation on this small circle. And that's why just before his persecution and all, he actually took the 3 on the side. And as he was praying to the point of sweating blood, he kept going to them, asking them, can't you just watch even for an hour? It means he had created such a level of closeness with these 3 such that he felt he could be vulnerable with them. The rest did not see the sweating. The rest did not see the vulnerability of Jesus. So you as a man, do you have that circle that you can be vulnerable to? When you feel like your marriage is breaking apart, do you have a man that you can disclose with all sincerity that this is what I'm going through? Those moments that you need to break down and cry, please just tear down that wall that you created and you said a man cannot cry. Please, you can cry. All emotions that God gave you, God gave you for a reason, including the anger, by the way, Apostle.
Yeah.
All this, they serve a purpose. So those tears, God did not just use you as a container to hold some liquid. It is supposed to help you process some emotions. And actually, I like a quote that says that a tear is 1% water, 99% emotions. So please express them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm sure somebody is listening. That's very powerful, that God did not create a container to hold some liquid called tears. Powerful. I feel like trying it here.
Are there tissues? I think there should be tissues somewhere.
Loise,
Yes.
because my director will start telling me all time or what. One of the reasons why I take time and I look for guests, and they sometimes become difficult to get, is because I like bringing guests here who are willing to share their practical life, their real life, you know, that I went through this. When I tell you the things I've gone through and I am here today, you know, people look at you and like, wow, look at that beautiful lady who is just there telling us how to do things.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what people are going through? You know, you are just hearing of people throwing shoes. Do you know, have you ever gotten to a place where you felt like throwing yours, you know? And I would want you to share with us. You talked about you have gone through divorce.
Yes.
And it is good that you tell someone, because some people think I've come to the end of it. You have talked about, you are not just telling us about mental, you know, health.
Yes.
It's a matter you have gone through.
Yes.
Do you want to share with us?
Yes. Gladly.
Tell us when you got married. Tell us, you know, what you can share
Oh,
with us.
Apostle. All right. Now, interestingly, I thought about getting married when I was still in high school. And I would tell my close friends that I'll get married at 21. That was child talk. But I did not know that it will surely come to pass.
At 21?
At 21. So I got married at 21.
Wow.
And by the time I turned 23, my marriage was on the rocks. But remember, as a girl, what are we told? That a wise woman has to build her house with her own hands. So definitely I did not talk about it. And I
destroy
suffered. Yes, with our own hands we destroy our houses. And again, in the Kikuyu culture, you are taught that you have to zip, go to Maria, you know. You cannot keep talking about your marital things to everyone. So what did I do? I kept it to myself. So I suffered for 8 good years. I became thin. My life was just a mess. To the extent that I lost myself. I know in another forum we might discuss the divorce and the marriage issue. But for now, I know I have to summarize it. And so by the time it got to the point that I felt it is time. Actually, I was at the verge of it is either death or marriage. It was choosing between 2 evils. Yeah? Because I'm one person who loved keeping my marriage. Remember, it is a childhood dream. Yeah? And so when things started going the way they went, I couldn't really believe. And actually, that was the first time that I was shocked at this God who could not save my marriage. Who could not, and yet is an all-powerful God. And yet the officiating pastor, and I liked quoting this even as I was praying. The officiating pastor, Bishop J.J. Idadi, God bless him, though he's late, he said that this is a 3-coded marriage that cannot break, where there is Loise, there is the spouse, and there is God. So why would God allow a 3-coded marriage that the Bible says a 3-coded string cannot break? Why is this one breaking? So I struggled with it. And again, from the very first year of our marriage, we believed that our marriage was like a fountain where many couples will come and draw from. So we were actually very passionate on the institution of marriage. And for the time that, actually for the first year, we really worked with couples until things started happening. And so now I got to a point that I had to come to the realization that it just has to end. As in, I've done my best. There's nothing more I can do. And so at that point, by the time I'm leaving this marriage, I have lost myself. Because in the process of keeping my marriage, I was doing everything to please this other person to ensure that our marriage is kept together. And I would take the blame, as in, even if the other person is at fault, I would take it as my responsibility. So in short, I absorbed too much. So by the time I'm coming now to the end of my marriage, I don't even know who I am. In my first counseling session, I was asked to state just 3 things that Loise likes for me now. Not things that I like because of my spouse or because of my children. Believe me, you got to week 6. I had nothing. That tells you how I was living my life. And so now starting my journey of recovery, number 1, I was very angry with myself because I could not understand why I allowed myself for 8 good years to be in an abusive marriage. 8! To the extent that I've lost myself completely. I couldn't believe. As in, I took long to forgive myself for that. So that definitely affected many things in my life, and the journey of recovery was long and tough. But why it was long and tough is because, remember, I was not talking to anyone. So I'm processing this by myself. And the only help that I sought at first, other than talking to the first counselor, those are the first 6 weeks after my marriage broke, I would read books, I would watch stuff on social media, trying to look for help. Until at one point, a friend told me about a class that was happening at All Saints for parenting sons. It was called Mothers of Sons. And believe me, that is where now I started opening up now to help, to receive help, because I realized I'm not the only one who is dealing with this. The stigma was somehow demystified. Mothers of Sons was not just for single mothers, it was just for mothers. But in the process, I met mothers who are actually parenting in marriage, but their husbands are not involved in raising their sons. And after that, I came another program, and slowly by slowly, I started talking about it. Fast forward, I get to a job that was a bit challenging. And remember, I have unresolved trauma in my life. So at some point, it had to explode, because I had many coping mechanisms, which I would actually call escapism. One of them, I seriously went to school. Apostle, I am very learned.
I witnessed that.
Thank you. And my motivation for going back to school was not because I loved books. It is because in this period that I was in this marriage, I had to run away from my pain. So I went back to school, and that's when I did my CFA, Certified Investments and Financial Analyst course. That's the time that I did my first master's in the pain. So rather than going to alcohol and all, I would spend my time in books, because I cannot handle the pain.
Which was a better option.
It was actually today, I thank God for that option. I am where I am today. And now, but remember, that was escapism. I did not deal with the issues. So over time, now when I got not to the workspace, I had to overwork, because I have to compensate to fill this gap. I'm done with school, what do I do? So number one, I became a perfectionist. I would make sure that I have no backlogs. So even if it means being in the office up to 8:30, and remember, I'm a mother and a single mother, but my work was very important. And again, there's also the fear of being labeled as a non-performer. Remember, I'm carrying many wounds and many bruises which are not treated. So I was so protective over myself. So I would look ahead. So before I'm called a non-performer, I better perform. Yeah. And so you see, that is the wrong objective. Oh, the objective is actually right, but the wrong approach to this objective. So over time, it caught up with me. And one time, I remember I told my friend, I remember it was a Sunday morning, and I told her, by then I was already doing my master's in counseling psychology. And I told my friend, I feel like I can see depression. It was not the first time that I had been in depression. I had dealt with depression earlier on in my struggle with my marriage. But not this time. This is like 8-9 years post-divorce. So I could not really attach it to anything. Nothing really was happening in my life. There was no storm. Let me put it that way. There was no storm that could have explained the depression. And she told me, I think you need to slow down and check things out. And true to it, I went for therapy that week, and was actually diagnosed with moderately severe depression. And that ranking requires medication. And this was a Thursday. I'm supposed to take my child to school on Sunday. And you know, the moment I start the medication, I need to slow down. So how will I drive to where my child goes to school? And that broke me down. I actually sat in that therapy room. Thankfully, my therapist was very gracious. I cried for about 3 hours. Because you see, now I am blaming myself for getting myself to this place. The self-blame. Yeah? And long short of it, I decided, because I was definitely referred to a psychiatrist, but at that point, since I knew what the cause was, I felt the better thing was for me to address the root, not the symptoms. So I became very purposeful on living intentionally. Now, I had to start being more compassionate with myself. What does that mean? Understanding that this journey was not easy. And I did the best that I knew at the time. Yeah? And so, stop over-judging and judging yourself so harshly because of where you are and what you've gone through. And after that, I started now taking intentional measures of now taking care of myself. Number one, journaling. I would also take walks. I would talk to people. Like her now, to this day, she knows I can text. If I cannot talk to her, There are mornings that she wakes up with very long text messages because if I needed to express it to someone, I have to. I'll not wait for morning. I usually tell her, this wall, it is our wall. And good enough, she's also a counseling psychologist. So we challenge one another, and she really helps me out of those spaces. And remember, this is a journey. Healing is not a straight process. It is not linear. Sometimes it is a spiral, where at some points you felt you are okay. Then something hits and you find yourself spiraling down, and you have to start your way up again. And that is why we have to extend grace to ourselves. A lot of grace, continuous grace, the self-compassion on our journey of healing. Don't say, I did 8 sessions last year of therapy, I should be fine now. So when I start feeling things now, I'm too embarrassed to go back to therapy. By the way, we still do, even as counselors, we still do therapy. Like tomorrow I have a session with my therapist, yet I'm a therapist. So extend grace to yourself and allow help. Allow people to help you. There are people who are going through stuff, but the world they have created around themselves, people can see they are suffering. And people can see something is wrong, and people can see this person really needs help. But they have created such a wall, such that it's impenetrable. Wow. So you lock people out, yet people want to help you. The other thing that I had to do is rest. I actually took leave immediately. Leave just to rest. And for the first time, I went on leave without work. Because I realized I'm taking on leave, which is not actually leave. It is changing the work environment from working from the office to working from home. So I had to be intentional in my rest. Now, rest means different things to different people. To some people, it is going on vacation. To some people, the pocket will not allow you to go on vacation. So does that mean you will not rest? So in your circumstances, define your rest. What is that you do that makes you feel recharged? That clears your mind, that makes you feel refreshed? You have to identify that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Somebody is asking why I'm not even talking, because remember we are told it's 1 out of 5. And I'm getting to hear something here. Allow me to read a few comments, because as I've always told my people, it is my show, it is your show, it is not mine. Because if you can ask a question, then my work is to amplify. That is all what I do. And I have a number of things to read here. And Loise Morara says, thank you, Loise, for the challenge. Indeed, we cannot go far without this. And then Timbasi says, good job, Loise, my mentor. Take the longest route to the washroom. This is profound, and I've been practicing this unknowingly. Yeah, she has done that, or he has not. I don't. Timbasi is. Yeah. She has done. She has done that. Sorry, I'm trying to understand the name. Thank you so much for clarifying. She has done that all the time, but she didn't know why. Now she knows why. You know, it's such a blessing to know that really you are helping us, and we are getting helped.
Thank you.
You are saying. I mean, whatever you are telling us, we are taking it so seriously.
Thank you.
And I want you to know that so many people here are being helped. I wish I could read all these comments, but if I don't read you, as just know, it's just because of time, but I will read as much as I can. Josiah Cheke says, be real. That has struck me, you know, being real.
Yes.
Elizabeth Kenywa says, loving the discussion. Liz Kenywa tuned from Roiro. And then Moses Okodi says, how does one handle struggling with the sleep at night? I don't know whether we can do that. I'm told my time is not, is gone. And then good discussion. Jeff Geshoke, Pastor, thank you. And then your Princess Julie says, loved this discussion, I'm helped. And Ivy says, Janu, therapy, walking, got it right.
Thank you.
You know, I'm told 1 hour is done.
Oh, that was too short.
I wish we ended 2 hours.
Yes.
Or 3 hours. But we have done something.
Yes,
some
we
people
have.
have been helped. I too have been helped.
Thank you,
and
Apostle.
thank you so much. You know, and I want to give you a minute.
Okay.
Look at that camera.
Yes.
And what I want you to do is tell us where we can get you.
Yes.
If you have a number where you can give us, if you
Yes.
have one that you're comfortable giving us, because I know there's somebody here who has a question and I could not read it, but I said you give us the contact.
All right.
So give us the contact,
Yes.
and they will be happy.
All right, thank you, Apostle. My number is 0720-305-619. 0720-305-619. So once you reach out, I'll be able to direct you further. And I would also want to take this opportunity to encourage anyone who is struggling with divorce, grief, parenting singly. You can connect with, there are various churches that offer programs. There's divorce care for those who have gone through divorce. I know there's Parklands Baptist, there's Nairobi Chapel, and I think also Mavuno. They offer the program among other churches that offer. It is a church-based program that supports anyone who is going through divorce. I'm actually a facilitator in divorce care. There's also single and parenting for anybody who is parenting singly, again offered under churches. There's grief share, again offered by churches. There's also divorce care for children, to support children for those who are going through divorce. So please don't struggle alone, even if you're at that point where you feel you're still not able to talk about it. Maybe it is still very painful. Please connect with others who are walking a similar journey and you'll be assisted. Those who are dealing through with traumatic issues, maybe you've gone through a traumatic experience, please don't be quiet. I have shared that I've gone through it. And actually something that I forgot to mention, Apostle, is that for a long time I've been treated with, for an autoimmune condition called fibromyalgia, which is actually trauma related. So please don't be quiet. Don't wait until you start dealing with other physical illnesses. Let's do this. We are here for you. We understand you. We feel you. We don't judge you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. That is what we end for today. My guest, Loise Njeri Muriithi, has done a wonderful job. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for sharing. And the number is there. I actually wrote it down there just in case you never got it. Go to that comment, get the number, talk to her. You'll be helped. From our side, we say God bless you. I'll be meeting you next week, God willing. But I want to say you have been such a blessing. See you. Remember, in Kayole Gospel Celebration Church, that's where I minister. And if you really want to get blessed, come on Sunday. It will be a blessing. Shalom.